Hey, shalom, family. At this time, may the peace of y'all be with each and every one of you brothers and sisters. At this time, may the peace of y'all come upon you, brothers and sisters, when we obey Him. Hey, so, brothers and sisters, this is a very important video. I'm going to highlight Hosea 2:11 so you can understand the words of Yah. Begin to understand, begin to know the words of Yah. Because many are confused at this time. Many think they know the words of Yah. But I'm here to tell you from my experiences, brothers and sisters, it takes a period of time to know the words of Yah, truly to get to know the words of Yah, brothers and sisters, because you have to know how everything lined up, because Yah said so many things before He sent the prophets. Yes, He gave so many laws, He gave His laws that we should keep. And many times you see He said continuous, forever, we should obey them forever. Yes. But it came a time, brothers and sisters, when our people did not obey our laws, they stopped keeping them the way He told them to keep them. And they'd be forever with them. Yes. But it came a time when Yah had to punish our nation, brothers and sisters, because of all of their wickedness, all of their sins. A lot of people don't take into account today, and a lot of these people that teach do not know these things, so they teach according to what somebody else told them. They don't look into all the prophets. They overlook the prophets. Like rabbits jumping and bouncing, and they always miss a space in the grass when they get to bouncing and jumping from place to place. A lot of people, they jump over the scriptures. That's why I say it's the every words of Yah we live by, we go by. Every word you got to know, brothers and sisters. We got to come to that knowledge. It takes time. We got to know what took place in the beginning, all the laws that He told us to keep. Then we got to know what took place, why we got put out of the land. And then Yah told the prophets some laws we cannot keep. He stopped them. Not all of them, but some of them. You got to know that too, brothers and sisters. So you got to know what we could keep, what we cannot keep. Because you're going there, if you don't have that knowledge, you're going there when you read in the beginning, the Father state the laws, we should keep all of these laws, statutes, and judgment. Yes. That was when He gave them the covenant. He told them, keep all these laws, statutes, and judgment. Do it this way. Don't alter nothing. Don't change nothing. It came upon a time they stopped obeying Yah, and then Yah stopped certain laws. So if He stops something, we cannot keep them until He reinstate them. You got to know that. You got to look into the scriptures, see how long, when can we keep these things again, where and where. Yah showed all of these things through the prophets. That's why He said in Isaiah, if it's not according to the laws and the prophecy, the witness, testimony, depends on what translation you have, there's no truth in these people. You got to know all of these things. You got to know what the Father said to the prophets. A lot of people totally overlook the prophets. They jump. That's why I say, jumping like rabbits, like bunnies, hopping to and fro. But never able to come into the knowledge of the truth. And that's what some of these teachers do today, brothers and sisters. So when they hear somebody tell them the truth, and they don't go back and research these things, study these things out, they start calling them a demon, like somebody called me a demon on the internet, because they lack the knowledge of Yah. That's why Yah said, His people perish because of lack of knowledge. They have some knowledge, but they don't have all the words of Yah that will make them complete. So let's get into this right here. I don't want to make this video too long. I got a couple of books to show you, all coming from the prophets. So Hosea chapter 2, we're going to start off with verse 9. So let me go to 8. See, y'all right here was telling the Hosea. When he says she, he's talking the nation of Yashael Yah, Yada and Yashael Yah. He said, and she did not acknowledge, recognize that I gave her grain and new wine and oil and increased her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. See, the thing that Yah gave them, He said they did not acknowledge. They stopped preparing these things and offerings for the Canaanite deity called Baal, one they called the son of El, E-El. the Canaanite worship. They turned from Yah and started contributing the things Yah gave them, the riches Yah gave them, the riches of the land. They start worshiping an idol of the Canaanites. It said, therefore, I shall turn back and shall take my grain in the time of my new wine. So you know, he said he would take the grain in its time. See, now Abiyah started taking away things from them. See, Abiyah gave us all of these things. Then he told us to keep all these things, and it should be continuous forever. He told us to do all this, but our people stopped. So now it's a process. He started taking things away in his time, and my new wine, and in its appointed times, and I shall take away my wool, my linen covering, her nakedness, and right here, 10. And now I shall uncover her shame before the eyes of her lovers. See, the nation, the one she turned to, our nation, our ancestors turned to, now I'm going to put them to shame. And no one shall deliver her from my hand. See, that's what I'll be like. No one shall deliver and give back. Not even you, those one claim the teachers of Yah, but are not, that speak against Yah. He said, and I shall cause all her rejoicing. You get that? Her feast. They got festival, but it's feast. Her new moon, the ones you claim to keep the day and call it a new year. He said her new moons and her right here Sabbath, we're talking about weekly Sabbaths, and the feast right here. If you read let's say let me get my place right here. The feast. When you look in Leviticus chapter 23, that includes the high Sabbaths. But this time about her weekly Sabbath right here. Even all her appointed times to what right here, cease, stop. See, these are the words of Yah. So this was the punishment. Let me go down to 23. Excuse me, down to verse 13. Still chapter 2. And I shall punish her for all the days of the Baal to which she burnt incense and adorned herself with her rings and jewelry, and went after her lovers and forgot me, declares Yah. You see that, brothers and sisters? These are the punishments that came down upon us. See, them the laws of Yah stopped, ceased for a period of time. Not forever, but for a period of time to punish us. A lot of people look over that. Can't even explain that. They only can explain it with lies. They don't even understand it. Then they get there immediately. They see it and try to explain it away when somebody pointed out to them. It's not that easy, brothers and sisters. You got to understand what Abiyah did before. What he said before this came and all the promises. Even Deuteronomy 28 show you the blessings of Yah and the curses. The curses and the punishment came when they disobeyed. And that was part of the punishment. Abiyah took a lot of things. He took everything away from us. Even took us out of the land. That's why we're not there today. Now I'm going to show you, I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm going to show you certain things in here. But in Ephesians chapter 3, let me get there, give me a moment. In Ephesians chapter 3, Abiyah shows right there in Ephesians, give me a moment. I'm going to get there. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 18 to 20, he shows right there, brothers and sisters. He showed right there the state we should be in at this time. A lot of people don't understand it, but I'm here to show you. I'm reading this from this translation right here called The Scriptures. A lot of people don't understand, and this the state we should be in right here, because Abiyah did, the punishment came down to us in Hosea chapter 2:11. So right here in the prophets, right here reads, he said, I shall gather. See, this time, now it's talking about a gathering. He said, I should gathering. He said, I should gather. Remember, it's two gatherings going to take place. In the book called Ezekiel chapter 37, talking about can the dry bones live. And he said we should, he's going to put a spirit in us, and we should rise from the grave of exile and return home. He said, and we should assemble ourselves together and return. So that's one gathering. Then it's another gathering that takes place in the wilderness, where Abiyah going to remove the rebels and pick those who have hard at the Yah and bring them back into the land. And only the righteous is going to be there. So right here it says, and I shall gather those who grieve. See that word grieve, which is sorrowful, with some translators say mourning. Remember, all the feast days is for joy and a celebration, not for sadness. But Abiyah stopped them to punish us. See, Abiyah never intended for us to be in captivity and for this to be a joyful thing. No, it's punishment to correct us, to get us back in line, to obey him. That's why I say we rising up out of the grave of exile to return back to Yah. If he gave you joy here, and celebration here, and blessings here, like you think you got blessings here, you will never have a desire to want to go home. You'll be content here. That's why people in this nation, our people, they asking the government for justice and peace. You're not going to never get it here. You'll see that. You will never, for the rest of your life, you'll die here seeking something you will never obtain here. To obey Yah, and you obey Yah through his word and also through the words that his chosen ones given unto you, like me today. Right here. It reads, he said, and I shall gather those who grieve about the appointed time, who are among you too, whom the reproach is a burden. See the reproach. See, the reproach is the dishonor. It's a burden. It's a burden right here. See, the reproach, whom the reproach, which is the dishonor, is a burden, is a heavy load to take, because it's a dishonor not to be in our homeland, going up to the feast of Yah and carrying out all these functions. So outside of the land, it's a burden, it's a reproach, a dishonor. Remember, I read to you earlier how Abiyah said, your shame among your lovers, among expose your nakedness. See, the sins, brothers and sisters, so keep all of that in mind. So right here, he said, I should gather those who mourn, who grieve about the point of feast, who are among you, see, who are among us, our nation. Showing that everybody is not going to grieve. Everybody not mourning. People right now is celebrating, throwing up pictures with sparkling, balloons, New Year, new moon. They don't understand what Abiyah said in the prophets. So right here, verse 29, we should be in a state of mourning, desiring to return back to Yah. But he said he's going to gather those who mourn. Verse 19, it says, see, this coming from the prophet Zephaniah 3:19. It says, see, I am dealing with all those afflicting you at that time, and I shall save the lame and gather those who were cast out, and I shall give them for a praise and for a name in all the earth where they were put to shame. You see that? Remember what Abiyah said? We're going to be put to shame. He said, at that time, I shall bring you in even at the time I gather you. For I shall give you for a name and for a praise among all the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, says Yah. You see that, brothers and sisters? Now go back up to 18. I shall gather those who grieve about the appointed times. Why? Why he gonna gather those who grieve? Now let me go back to Hosea. So we talk about the appointed times, those who grieve because we cannot keep them. You're not grieving if you're keeping them. That's a time of celebrating. But Abiyah stopped them. So you got to know all these prophets, brothers and sisters. Yes, when you don't know the prophets' words that Abiyah gave them. That's what Isaiah in chapter 8 tells you, and that tells you, brothers and sisters, if it's not according to, let me get the Hosea, if it's not according to the laws and the prophets, the truth is not abiding in these people, brothers and sisters. Right here, let me read it one more time again. Verse 11, chapter 2, verse 11 of Hosea, the prophet. He said, and I shall cause all her joyous, see the word joyous, her joyous, see? The thing that was a delight to us at one time, when we had kept it, there was a joy. They were joyous. See, if you rejoicing now, you're not mourning, like Abiyah said over there in the prophet book. The ones he going to gather. You think he going to gather. You think you're in line with Yah. You're not. You can put all the scriptures together, but you still cannot get past the prophecies after the fact. He punished us. He said, I shall cause all, this was the sentencing that was handed down to the prophet. He said, I shall cause all her joyous, rejoicing, take that to mind, rejoicing, what you're doing now. Those who claim they're keeping the feast of Yah, but you're keeping your own. Just like Abiyah said, I hate your feast. Them was some of the last words before he punished our ancestors and threw them out that land. He said, your feast. Yes, they're your feast, your new moon, your Sabbaths. But Abiyah stopped his for you, to punish you. He said, I shall cause all her rejoicing, her feasts, her new moons that people claim today, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, even all the appointed times. Remember what I just showed you, the appointed times, all her appointed times, all the appointed times, and all the appointed times to assemble before Yah as a Kodesh convocation, a gathering of our nation together before Yah in reverence of him. All of these things got ceased. You see right there, it said, even all her appointed times to cease. Stop. See, Abiyah caused these things. Nobody go return what Abiyah caused these things. Yes. All the things he said before, and he said these things are forever. Yes. Until, but he told her, he always gave us a warning. He said, if you obey me. But our people did not obey him, so he cast it out. And then he told the prophet we should be mourning for. He said those who mourn, that understand, those who have the knowledge will mourn, desire to keep these things, but no, we can't until we get home. In my conclusion, I'm going to go to Ezekiel real quick and show you how these things are going to be reinstated. Brothers and sisters, you got to have this knowledge of Yah. Because without the knowledge of Yah, he said his people perish. He said he wasn't even talking about the rest of the nation. This is strictly at this time for people. That's why he said we got to go and renew the covenant. Chapter 44 in the book of Ezekiel right here. 44 right here. 44 and verse 23 right here. He said, and they are to teach my people the difference between the set apart and the profane. He talking about the priest. If you go back up, you'll see the priest. And no priest is to drink wine when he comes into the inner court. See, all these things we got to know. That's when the third temple will be built. And they are to teach my people the difference between the set apart and the profane, and make them know what is unclean and clean. And they are to stand as judges in a dispute and judge it according to my right rulings. See, not your own, but of your right rulings. And they are to guard my Torah. See, laws. And my laws. There goes the Torah and my laws, which is basically my rules and my laws. And all my appointed, look, in all my appointed feasts, they got festival feasts, and set apart my Sabbath. See, that is the responsibility for the priest when they be reestablished. But the messenger in Malachi chapter 3 must come back and clean the priest to get them ready for all of these functions. The priest will get the whole line of Yah, nation of Yah, in order. We all would know these things on one accord, brothers and sisters. See, and set apart my Sabbaths. See, they would call the order and say, this is Abiyah Sabbath, like he told Moshe before. He told them, 6 days you're going to gather this food. And on the 6th day, you gather twice as much. And then on the next day, going to be the Sabbath, a rest. That's where it all got started at in Exodus. 2 months and 15 days after we was out of the land of Egypt. See, Abiyah got a certain way he's going to do this, brothers, because he stopped it for a period of time. A lot of you don't know this. But now, if you carefully read these things, the prophet, the laws of Yah, you will see all the things. What I'm telling you, I showed it to you. You can read it. That's why I even put it on my phone monitor so you can see this. So the priests got a responsibility, brothers and sisters, when they get reinstated, when they get cleaned up. You got to know these things, brothers and sisters. It's all in the prophets. Everything got to line up. Everything, you got to know the order of Yah. That's why he said, if it's not according to the laws and the prophets, brothers and sisters, there's no truth in these people. Yet, I will show you a little bit more, and that's it. You got to know these things, brothers and sisters. Right here, see right here in verse 3 of Malachi, his real name is Malachi, but the translated version is Malachi. It's right here. It says, see, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, see, I am sending my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. See? He going to prepare the way. He going to set things in order, get things lined up, prepare. He preparing the people's mind before y'all return. He said before me. He said before me. Not before no Messiah, but before him. He said me. He said then suddenly the master you all seeking comes to his, it's called temple. See? Showing the temple going to be built. Even the messenger of the covenant. See, even the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, said Yah of hosts, and who is able to bear the day of his coming, and who is able to stand when he appears. See, it said he comes, so I'll be saying this one message is going to appear before you. Who going to be able to withstand his teaching? That's what it's talking about. Who will be able to count his teaching? No one, brothers and sisters. He said, appear. He said, for he is like fire, a refiner, and like soap of a launderer. And he shall set as a refiner. But now he talking a corrector. See, he's saying refiner, but a corrector and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse. You see right there? And he shall cleanse my son. Somebody was marking this stuff, scratching this. I don't know who did that. The sons of Levi. See, the priest. Right there. And refine them as gold and silver. And they shall belong to Yah, bringing near a offering in righteousness. You see that? A offering in righteousness, presenting the clean animals back to Yah. See, at that day, because right now, everything is defiled before Yah. That's why the temple was destroyed. That's why the slaughter place, the altar was destroyed. It's still all unclean until this day. That's why even the priests are still unclean until the messenger cleansed them. And once they get clean, the temple be built, the slaughter place be built, they're going to rededicate. Brothers and sisters. Let me read a little bit more. They're going to rededicate the slaughter place, make it acceptable to bring offerings to. So right here, Abiyah said, then shall they, okay, let me go right here, and bring near a offering in righteousness, see, according to Abiyah laws. Then shall the offerings of Yada, see, you got Yahudah, talking the nation, then the offering, see, when all of this take place, is a then the offering of Yada and Yashalom, talking about the city, be pleasing to Yah. You get that? A lot of people call themselves right now, they walking around with unleavened bread, talking about they keeping the feast of Passover, and all that is unclean to Yah at this time. You don't even accept that. Not until all this take place. The messenger got to clean the priest. It's an order. A lot of people walking in their own order. But this is the order of Yah through the prophets. That's why it's the every words of Yah. You got to know these things, brothers and sisters. He said, then shall the offering of Yahudah, and Yashalom be pleasing to Yah as in the days of old. You see that? See, the days of old was before we got put out of the land. Before they defiled the temple, the slaughter place. As in the days of old, and as in the former years. You get that, brothers and sisters. He said, and I shall draw near to you for right ruling. You see that? Now, Abiyah said right there, he would draw near to us in right rulings at that time, brothers and sisters. These are things you got to know. If you read chapter 1 of Malachi, you'll see how they defiled it. Abiyah is going to explain and would show the prophet how they defiled it. His Kodesh things, set apart things. See, all of this took place. And then in Hosea, Abiyah show how he punished us and stopped these things. Then Abiyah show you right here in 3 how he going to reinstate these things. And in the order he going to reinstate these things through the priest of Yah. But the messenger got to come and clean the priest. See, you got to know all of these things, brothers and sisters. You got to know how all of these things line up. Or somebody's going to come and lie to you. Oh, we can keep the Sabbath. We can keep the feast days. We can do all of these things because they read the law, the earlier laws that was given. But they don't know what the Father told the prophet. Why he stopped these things. It's all in the prophets, brothers and sisters. You got to know how they all line up for each time period. Yeah, there's going to come a time period when we're going to keep all of these laws. See, somebody will go and try to twist my word and say, he trying to be like the Christians and say all the laws is nailed to a cross. No. I showed you in Hosea 2 what the laws Abiyah stopped. I ain't never see all of them. See, that's what, this is me speaking. This is y'all news that bring you the truth, brothers and sisters, without the sugarcoat. And I'll show you the facts. I'll show you where you can read them, where you can see them. In the order, in the proper order they should be in. It's a time for that. That's why a lot of people don't want to go home, because they want to rejoice in the enemy land and think they got rest. You got no rest here. You only got a falsified rest in your mind, so you feel comfortable in your mind. Right? Abiyah said this enemy will kill you when you disobey him. I might show you that and end it off right there and let you contemplate on that. In Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 20, brothers and sisters. A lot of our people don't obey y'all. They walk in their own ways and their own thoughts. Brothers and sisters, let me get there. Give me a moment so I can end this off. I didn't intend to make it this long, but it's so important. I have to show this. See right here in Isaiah, Yashayah, chapter 1, verse 20 reads, "But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be," let me make sure I got that word, devoured by the sword. You see that? One translation I got to say by the enemy. You should be killed by the enemy. It's right here. It says, "For the mouth of Yah has spoken." These are the words of Yah with that. Todah Yah.